So we've got more SBCs, we're starting to come to the end of the game now, and in general, we've got an 84 times 10 unlimited, so most of the SBCs can be completed with very if to no coins spended completely for your time more so than free as such. Now, just thinking for next year, would you prefer to have some of the older cards still in this list by now, or do you prefer to have the whole just fresh? Any player that's obviously in these SBCs now, do you just prefer to have them rather than any expired ones that you'd like to see in the future? You'd like to see maybe a kind of older list where we can see where they came out and if they were okay value or not. Let me know down below. I feel like I'd probably prefer to go with just the fresh players and kind of players that you can actually complete rather than necessarily going over a 90 Salah that you could have got 4 months ago. Leave it in the comments. But in terms of the players, we've got the icons in here now, and there is a few absolute monsters that you do want to have a look at. So, if we go over to Futbin and see their price, because that's pretty much... It's now not even necessarily a coin price, it is more just time. How much time do you need to spend on each one to get them complete? Now, when you look at the likes of Riquelme and Keane, as we've had pretty much throughout most of the year, they're always standard cards. The realistic value of these are going to be for past and present teams. Maybe you just like the specific player. For instance, Rooney is one of my personal favourites. And he's also in a Man U past and present, but also he's a very good player anyway. So it kind of ticks all 3 boxes. But even if he was of the level of Keane where he doesn't really fit into the centre mid massively, I'd probably still complete him just to have him in that Man U team later on. Now, obviously, with Keane and Riquelme, personally for me, I would probably just keep them into the fodder or even just a miss. Like, I'm just going to be utilising them as my fodder kind of grows. It's just another SBC to complete. They're 90k and 118. It's standard. There's nothing too crazy about them, and in general, they're just going to sit in the club. They're not going to feature, especially when we do have the 2 Jude and Joe Bellingham brothers in the centre mid. Cams, we have Hullits, we have just so many players that would take their spot. And yes, they've got decent playstyle pluses across the board. Like we've got the Bruiser, Slide Tackle, Pinged and Incisive. It's probably the best card Keane's had. And even Riquelme, yes, I feel like his is a little bit less. Dead Ball, Technical are not my 2 favourites. Tiki Taka and Incisive are not nice, but you'd need a finesse shot, you'd need some sort of quick step for him to really put him anywhere near a mid-level cam at this point in the game. And it's not always about the low cost of players, because naturally, we've got someone like Zambrotta, who is one of the more favourite ones in as a right back, and he's only 160,000. Now, obviously, with Zambrotta, he's always been a relatively cheaper card that you can normally get. He's coming in with the intercept, slide tackle, rapid, and also a bit of press proven. Now, obviously, we have got a lot of right backs in the game now, so it isn't as easy as just complete him and then put him in the team when you've got the likes of Thuram, Carlos Alberto. You throw in a... In fact, I don't know, is Carfu even got one yet? It was Zambrotta, it was Zanetti, Puyol, Dumfries, obviously with the 97. It was Maicon who I'm thinking of. Kayunde, there's so many right backs that you can go with now. If he came out first, you'd absolutely been all over it. But the fact that we've already got Thuram, you've already got a Dumfries, and then a Maicon as well, you'd question whether you'd put him in over them. Now, Zambrotta is a fantastic valued card. I think he, for me, is one of the better cards that you want to finish. So I would personally go with him in a must complete, just purely on the price, what you get back, and how long it takes you to complete him. Which leaves us with the 3 big boys, Ribery, Rooney, Puskas. Now, I was surprised that they gave Puskas one so quickly after Rooney, literally the next day, but we are getting into the game. It is, August 4th, so there really isn't that much time. We're coming close to just under a month. I think there's only just over a month at the moment until we get into FC 26, so half of this really is not going to be relevant within the next 2 months, so we will kind of go through it a bit sharply. Obviously, Ribery coming in at 1.2 mil. Quite expensive. I must admit, he's one of them ones that... So if you're looking for coins, check in the description for El Dorado. Depending on the coin amount that you're looking for, the delivery time is displayed on the website, and you'll see lots of different trusted sellers with reviews on specifics, and also the ability to be able to pick who you want. It will also show how much they have in stock, and obviously you can see that they are verified members. There is 100% refund ability and also 24/7 support if you need any questions with your coin needs. Also, if you head over to Trustpilot as well, you can see over 30,000 upvotes for them. You can see how reliable they are. Obviously great feedback across the entire board with Eldorado. So when on checkout, make sure you are using the code JT11 for 5% off your order every time. Discount code JT11. Now let's get back to the video. It gets a card, and I'm always like, back in the day, if you look at him from like the FIFA 10, FIFA 11, like the gold card was outrageous. Like he was one of the best left mids you could physically get. Even when you did have the Neymars of the game, the Ronaldinhos of the game, Ribery and Robben were absolutely up there in a buying team. Since he's come in as an icon, I don't feel like he's had that effect. He's a good card, but I don't think he's absolutely on that top. So in terms of value, I would personally say if you are only going for so much, because it's quite easy for me to say you could complete all of these. If you just do the 84 times 10 unlimited, eventually, like with a bit of time, you will get these finished. I don't think Ribery is worth that 1.3 if you are very subjective to what cards you're completing. If you are finishing the icon picks, if you are finishing off Rooney, Puskas, you're then going in and finishing off, you've already finished off a Mycon, for instance, somebody of more kind of like higher value. I get that you might not want to grind out Ribery, and to be honest, out of the three, I'd possibly say him being the lowest that I would actually complete, especially with the amount of wingers that we have got and what effect he would have on them, especially with Ginola 99 coming in as well. Puskas, on the other hand, coming in a little bit cheaper, 5.6, well 580 in fact, with some decent stats. Now, he didn't get an upgrade since Team of the Year. He was naturally going to get this upgrade at some point. Low driven, rapid, first touch, finesse. Beautiful quadruple, still available for the 5 play star pluses. That's what a lot of people have got to remember, and I don't know why they are giving it so long. Like, we are literally, like I say, only just a month and a bit away from FC 26. Cancel like the last 2 weeks because you're not really grinding out many SBCs in the last 2 weeks. You're predominantly focused on FC 26 and the kind of ability that you can go with there. So really, we have got like 1 month of, we need five play star pluses being added into Evos very sharply. So I imagine we get a big boost in them at some point. But I do think Puskas, with the stats that he does possess, is one of the better cards that you can get. He's an easy engine. He's got the 99 shooting already. 99, 99, 98, 99, 92. Not that it's a massive competition. Most top-end cards now have got these level of stats. But I do think as a Puskas does go, with the 5.5, the Playstyle Pluses is an absolute must. Very, very cheap. And to be honest, he overshadows Rooney a little bit, but Rooney is absolute dynamite. Like, genuinely how good this card is. The only gripe that I had with him slightly was sometimes he could be just a little bit stocky on the ball in comparison to your dribbling S players like a Messi, for instance, or your Mel. And I know the difference is they're different play style, like different play types. So obviously with Rooney, he's kind of that powerhouse. He runs through. He has got the pace on him now. He does have the 5 play style pluses, which is a massive bonus. The low driven, the rapid, pinged, press, and finesse. Very, very good 5 play style plus. Stats wise, again, very much like Puskas. You throw the engine on him, he goes in 99, 99, 97, 99, and 97 physicality. It's not necessarily a massive flex because there is everybody else with them as well. But Rooney would most definitely be up there with the best of them. I think these 3 would be an absolute must. I'd then go Keane and Riquelme as kind of just your fodder. 90k, 100k, it's not going to take you long to complete. Then I would be looking at Ribery. This is not a completely miss him, like if you are grinding everybody out. Absolutely, we can do that. It does take a lot of time until we get into them 85 times 10s where they really start ramping up the rewards. You can just grind him out and get him done over time. Then it comes into the players, which I think is their definite weak point at this point. There's not necessarily anybody in this team where I'm like, they're absolutely crazy must. They're all relatively cheap, bar from a Barbo. They're all very fodder players, and they were just caught it at a bad time. We obviously had got the likes of Mycon in there. We did have a few other players that were at least holding the line a little bit more. Now they've kind of gone a little bit off it, and it's very difficult to give an SBC when we have got these levels of players in the team already. I'm surprised that they haven't give like one big player at a time. Even if they start doing the 99s, it could be something that I've not seen a leak from yet, but I was expecting to get a 99 Yamal SBC, a 99 Mbappe SBC, just for you to be able to get them. I don't know if they're going to do that. They are leaving it very, very late. But then I don't know what they've got planned for the remainder, because we've got no transfer cards yet. So this could be kind of like the start of them. We don't know. So in terms of the players, it is quite an easy one for a lot of them. I don't think there's really, other than a Barbo, anybody that's of a massive value. So it is just kind of just a standard, that's about it. A Barbo coming in with some great playstyle pluses, great stats, obviously coming in very nicely for your attack. Was it the Serie A objective in the Evo Cup? Obviously that's going to be a fantastic one if you don't have anybody of that caliber. Everyone's got Valali and Thuram. A Barbo would be a great secondary player to be able to get them finesses on. So I do think he's decent value, but I don't think he would take over a lot of the right wings. I think he's kind of just subjective to the objective at the moment. So that's just kind of the easiest one to go with. Now, obviously, looking at the remaining players, if we was going through the values of them, I think if we start at the bottom with obviously Rice and also Benzema, I think they're decent. They're very good players in their position. They may not be the best, but they're very good for what rating they are and how they do kind of hold themselves in game. So I would go with the decent value for them. We then have Toon, who unfortunately has now, unfortunately, has now got a 99 as well. So it's kind of just that point where if you've got the 99, you probably not bothering with the 97. I don't know if we can click on the 99, but they obviously did get all a big upgrade in terms of the winning of the Euros. I was going to say Europa then. Winning of the Euros. They all managed to get the 99, which I think is a great touch from what we got with the road to the finals, the Europa, the Conference, and the Champions League, as well as then the Nation League winners, I believe. It's a nice touch to be able to have a team of 99s, which is always perfect. So really, it kind of downgraded her into more of just the fodder option. Probably, you wouldn't say miss because she's just not that expensive to miss, but it's most definitely an interesting one to kind of see. We then have a few of the kind of more names that just kind of get there really. Mukhtar, Trapp, Chawinga, all very standard, all very fodder. I think Chawinga was nice, but they really buckled the card. For what her team in the season was, they really didn't go crazy for her. Now, obviously, two of the more bigger names in Szoboszlai and also Openda coming in. Szoboszlai, obviously, for the Liverpool kind of past and present, or just present, I suppose. Not bad. He's obviously got playstyle pluses that are decent enough as a cam. Like I said, with most of the cams, it's just going to be. Like, there's not necessarily a crazy amount that you're going to overtake now. The level of cams in this list now, especially even with the Evos, 97, 98 cams coming in, you could put your player that you specifically want. I've got a 98 Mbappe that has come from the gold. So I don't even need the 99 at this point because I've got pretty much a carbon copy with technically better playstyle pluses. So I think Szoboszlai, with the stats that he possesses, I think he's okay. I wouldn't even say crazy. Not a 5-star. I'd be looking at a 5 playstyle plus if I really could at this point. So he is very, very standard for the list that we've got. And then finally, we do finish off with Openda. Now, again, another one that they really kind of messed up with. Where's the finesse? I get the low driven's a good playstyle plus, but the finesse is the golden one for shooting. Giving him the quick step technical, I need a finesse. So you're going to have to really hope that you get a finesse shot plus ready for this 97 to add as the 5th playstyle plus when that does become available. But then at the same time, if you have finished Rooney and Puskas, does Openda even get in? Does he even get a look in on the bench at this point? So I think value-wise is decent, is okay, but he's not necessarily crazy, and I think he really could have been better. And that's going to be the list for this week. Hopefully we do start to ramp up some SBCs. Anything crazy would be nice, but we are very much just coasting, and the icons are kind of carrying. So leave me down below what you're finishing, what you're completing, or are you just totally done? Leave it in the comments, and I'll catch you all for the next one. Peace.